Hey guys, Shiro here, and before I start this video, I just want to announce that we finally have a Discord server. Yay! I know you guys have been asking for this for quite a while now, and I figured that the best time to open my own Discord server is when I hit 1,000 subs, which I did. So, thanks to you guys, and just check it out, man. We got a general chat, of course, the Star Wars meme center, which is the most important part, of course, a channel where you can guys suggest videos for me, and last but not the least, 4 voice channels that you can use to communicate with other members of the server if y'all want to play some Battlefront, Minecraft, or whatsoever. But yeah, link's going to be in the description and probably in the pinned comment as well. And now on to the video. Back in April last year, I started this channel called Churro Tree because I couldn't do anything due to COVID. And at the time, I only uploaded Black Ops 3 and 2K content because, well, frankly, those were the only 2 games that I enjoyed playing. But then, Battlefront 2 suddenly became free on PlayStation for PS Plus users. At the time, I didn't really want to get the game and instead got World War 2 because it was free at that time as well. But I had a calling. This little kid in me that repeatedly watched his dad's collection of Star Wars movies when he was 7 awakened. I found myself impulsively downloading Battlefront 2 on my PS4 and playing it non-stop the entire quarantine. COVID wasn't even a thing anymore, as I was just enjoying having a good time playing Battlefront 2, and it's been a while since I found myself enjoying such an old game, and it definitely has been a while since I've last encountered some Star Wars content. And that just did it for me. I found myself uploading content for it on my channel, and although it wasn't the best start, I thankfully found a boost in one of my videos. The L2 spamming Anakin video got over 70,000 views, and that allowed me to make content while actually having people watching me and not just pretending to talk to a non-existent audience. And now, thankfully, that audience has grown to over 8,000. And I can't thank you guys enough. So for this special, I thought that I'd do a PS4 versus PC Battlefront 2, and it will be fitting as PS4 is where I started this channel with and PC is where it got me to where I am right now. So without any further ado, let's get into it. In this video, we'll be discussing a few main categories to determine whether Battlefront 2 is best played on the console or on PC. So those main categories are going to be, of course, price, availability, actual gameplay, which has a couple branches on it, so we'll probably be spending most of our time there, the community, and of course, its playability. Throughout these points, I'll be doing a comparison between 2 platforms, and to determine where Battlefront 2 is best played, we'll be doing a point system where whichever platform gets the most points is considered the winner. Also, I want to mention that most of the footage used as background video will mostly come from PC because, as you know, my recordings from PC is so much smoother than ones from PS4, but I will still try my best to use footage from PS4, but it will look 30 FPS-ish, 720, but yeah, I'll try my best to use PC footage for the most part. So yeah, let's get into it. So, starting off with the price. Deciding on the price currently doesn't really give much of a challenge, as right now, Battlefront 2 is on sale for PlayStation users for $6 until the 13th of May, while on Origin and Epic Games it remains around $25 to $45 if we're talking about the Celebration Edition. So, easily this spot goes to the PlayStation, but the next category that we're going to go to proves that maybe you shouldn't settle for that sale just yet. Moving on, availability. Now, when I'm talking about availability, I mean whenever you're going to be able to play the game. For PC, you basically just need your PC. Probably some good specs too, but for the most part, just your PC and an internet connection. On the other hand, playing it on PS4 requires PS Plus, or if you're on Xbox, then Xbox Live. I don't know, probably. The point here is, if you're like me that doesn't pay for PS Plus like monthly and only buy it because of a couple games online, then PS4 ain't really the best option for you. But this is personally one of the reasons why I switched to PC. So I guess we now know where this point is going to: PC, for not requiring a subscription to play Battlefront 2 on. Moving on to the most important part, actual gameplay. Now, I've seen tons and tons of debates on whether Battlefront 2 is harder or easier on PC, and trust me, as someone that has played it on both platforms, I can say that without a doubt, it is honestly very similar to one another. I mean, sure, it may be harder on PC when you're playing trooper game modes as they have better aim there, but who's to say that aim on controller hasn't evolved throughout the years? Plus, you'll get used to it pretty soon. I mean, at least that's what I experienced. But moving on to actual gameplay. On the PlayStation, I find it very hard to look for fair matchups anymore. On my first few weeks of playing it, matchups seemed fair, but as I progressed and leveled up, it just got worse. Now I know it may just be because of my levels, because we all know EA lied about this game having skill-based matchmaking, but it's still pretty annoying for me, and whether it's in my favor or not. Now moving on to PC, I, for God knows what reason, get fairly decent matchups actually. And this is talking from before it became free on Epic Games. And despite leveling up quickly and reaching max rank, I still got pretty fair matchups. I don't honestly know what's the reason, but if I were to guess, it's probably because more and more people smurf on PlayStation, as you can share PS Plus on all your accounts and still play Battlefront 2 with a different PSN, but when I tried doing it on Origin, it required me to buy the game for a new account, so that's probably it. But moving on to the next branch of this segment, looks. And I'm not gonna lie, Battlefront 2 on PC looks so much better and so much smoother compared to the PS4. You can pretty much run it on higher frames, and that honestly just gives it so much more beauty to it when you're playing the game. But I'm also not going to ignore the fact that I only have a PS4 Slim, which goes without saying, doesn't have the best graphics, frames, or even recording capabilities. That's why my content has evolved from, 720p 30fps to 1080p 60fps, simply because of switching to PC. And now, moving on to probably the most important and the most talked about branch of this category, customizability. And man, Battlefront 2 on PC looks entirely like a new game. With modding, you can literally have characters straight out of Legends and into Battlefront 2. Heck, if you want Luke training with Yoda, we got that. You want Grogu and Mando, we both got them. Even our favorite Padawan, Ahsoka, is available as a mod. But all this, of course, wouldn't be possible without the modding community, which goes without saying, we all should be thankful for. But this also wouldn't be possible, well, you guessed it, on the PlayStation. You wouldn't believe the hundreds, if not thousands, of Reddit posts of people saying they wish modding was a thing on console, or that switching to PC was life-changing. And another thing that's exclusive to almost all PC games and not on consoles is being able to change your FOV, which is of course present here, and is also one of, if not the most asked question on all of my YouTube videos. How did you change your FOV if you're on Xbox? Now, to be fair, I still use a PS4 controller on PC and it just reads it as an Xbox, so people keep asking me how I did it on console. And, well, here's the answer, boys. I play on PC. And I think it goes without saying that the entire category goes to PC. It's not even close. Next up is the community. And man, is this going to be tough. When I talk about the community, I mean mostly the people playing it. Sure, you can include Battlefront YouTubers, streamers, and creators to this category, but I'm mostly talking about just the players. Now, you may be wondering, there's one more thing that I skipped when comparing PC's gameplay to PS4, and that is, of course, the very amazing chat feature. I purposely did that because it's more fitting to talk about it here at the community category. And man, does it get toxic in both communities. But I think we all know that the PC one can be more toxic, as their messages, taunts, or trash talks are just literally one key away, whilst on the PlayStation, you still have to send a friend request, as if your intentions are friendly with a friend request, to talk trash to your opponent. But don't get me wrong, it can be pretty wholesome as well. If we're talking about the chat feature on PC, I would say that it's honestly a dub. You can just ignore all the toxic messages and use it for something else. I mainly use it for either saying GG's or requesting for 1v1s. And there are other times that I do get toxic, but I at least try to avoid those encounters, to be honest. So yeah, in conclusion, PC's chat feature, it's basically a seesaw. There's no middle ground. It can be wholesome or it can be absolutely toxic. But if we're talking PlayStation, then I think it's more chill there, to be honest. Ignoring friend requests with hate messages on it is so much easier than avoiding looking at them at the top of your screen. Plus, on PlayStation, they actually have communities that are mainly for Battlefront 2 players or Star Wars fans. So, this time I'll actually give the category or the point to PlayStation because they actually have these designated communities for these players of a certain game. So, yeah, have the point, PlayStation. And now for the very last category, it's playability. Now I put this category at dead last because I thought it mattered the least. And yes, it is a pretty old game, released back in 2017, but that doesn't really mean that the game is dead. You can still pretty much expect a game when you want one, and you don't have to wait to find a lobby. Well, the only problem is finding other players for that lobby. And this, by the way, goes for both platforms, but I would say that because of the recent freeing of Battlefront 2 for PC, literally millions of players joined overnight. Servers down, players joining, the modding community given more customers, and EA literally even tweeting about it. This huge spike in players definitely helped in bringing more playability on the PC side of Battlefront 2, but that doesn't mean that it's only exclusive to the PC. Like I said before, I got interested or I started getting addicted to this game because of it being free on PS Plus, which happened about a year ago. So if we're talking numbers here, if we're talking about the latest stuff, then I would honestly give it to Battlefront 2 PC because of that one little detail, that one simple fact that their spike of players happened recently compared to PlayStation's. So yeah, PC takes this category as its own. Well, now that we've gathered all the points and discussed all the categories, we've finally come up with a definitive answer. With its more stable performance delivery, its vast majority of customizability options, the freedom to bring characters from Legends to the Battlefront through the magic of modding, and with the recent spike of players joining on this game, playing Battlefront 2 on PC, without a doubt, should and always will be your ultimate choice. Once again, thank you for 1,000 subscribers. I honestly, it still hasn't hit me yet, but I at least know for a fact that I couldn't have done it without you guys. Also, don't forget to check out our Discord server, and yeah, I hope this video helped you guys on deciding whether to join the Battlefront on PC or PS4 or all consoles in general. I'll see you guys soon, and I read this in a comment, so I'll probably use it as my outro. And as always, my Jedi and Sith friends, the Force will be with you, always. Man, do I miss watching Star Wars Theory every night.